Yo, welcome to the New Number Podcast. I want to tell everybody thank y'all for tuning in. If you're just walking in the door, y'all make sure y'all like the video, share the video, subscribe to all social media platforms that we have X, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, and Instagram and TikTok. Y'all make sure y'all follow the page. Today, we got a great topic for y'all. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. We're going to get into the plantation burning down, the update on Tory Lanez case. We're going to be talking about I want to talk about black masculinity. It's a viral video going around right now. I want to talk about black masculinity. Did I say RG3?
Yeah, you ain't say it, but you got it. We got it on the docket.
Yeah, RG3
And Ryan Clark.
And what else? I think that was it, right?
You said the Tory Lanez.
Tory Lanez.
Anna Paulina.
Yeah.
Petitioning him for his pardon. Yeah.
Right. So that's what we're gonna get into today. What do you want to start at today?
We can get into the pardon. What's trending right now is a lot of cases, and what we see, you only see black men in jail. You got Chris Brown overseas, Tory Lanez,
right,
Puff Daddy, and this is all they want to show in the media. This is what consumes us. I'm sure there are plenty of other cases with other races, which with much more egregious crimes and more evidence to support said crimes. Yet we find ourselves talking about accusations, conspiracies, false imprisonments from the look of it with the Tory Lanez and Chris Brown having something going back to 2023. I think they saying they're trying to give him 16 years.
What?
They're trying to give him 16 years. I think got a bond hearing today, but it's just crazy that's headline news now. Like
right.
that's our entertainment, watching people life hang in the balance.
Yeah, and that's crazy that we just think it's just so lackadaisical. I guess, maybe crime shows desensitize us a little bit to not think that these are real people too.
Man, I caught myself in that rabbit hole, just watching just crime cases and the interrogation and just the stories behind it. And it's like, you don't realize that it's this much going on until you got to go look for it. Like, this ain't gonna be on your mainstream, on your timeline. You got to really go and search and dig for a lot of this stuff that's really impacting society.
I agree. So, first thing I want to do is I want to read Megan Thee Stallion's response first. Before we get into it, let's read what Megan Thee Stallion had to say.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it on the screen. So, this is what Megan Thee Stallion had to say. And let me read it to y'all. So, Megan Thee Stallion said, "At what point are y'all going to stop making me have to relive being shot by Tory, capital letters? At what point are Tory and y'all fans going to stop lying? Like, how much is the check to keep harassing me? Why is this happening every day? 1 minute, y'all said I was never shot. Now y'all letting him play in y'all face again, and I say I was shot, but it wasn't by him. Oh, okay. I'm sick of this shit. Leave me the fuck alone. He ain't dare get on that stand and deny he shot me. And that was his choice because he knows he did that shit. I don't give a fuck about a blog or a bot. Why the fuck? Why? Hold on. Let's follow this on. Why in the fuck would Megan Thee Stallion, have to lie on this motherfucker about shooting me? How y'all mad about the person that got shot? Facts are facts. He did it. It was proven in court. Fuck the hate campaign on the internet. Tory, you shot me. Ain't no new fucking evidence. Y'all been saying the same shit for years. Tory, please leave me alone. You are a fucking demon. I'm off this silly ass internet shit. Bye." So that's what Megan Thee Stallion had to say.
Two things, man. You got caught lying on TV,
right,
with Gayle King. You were literally caught lying, and you stated the opposite when you got questioned about being intimate with Tory Lanez. That's one. Two, it wasn't proven in court because no evidence confirmed his DNA or handprints was on the magazine or the gun. And we're gonna get into some additional video that says you got ring camera footage. You got a bunch of evidence that was suppressed.
Right.
And
body cam footage.
And you had one party that got immunity. If a party gets immunity, that's a red flag already. And if you look at what he did, he's in a rap game, right? And he's a black artist. We know there are certain stigmas that come behind snitching.
Right.
So if he was to say she did it, it'll be a double-edged sword because one, not only did you tell, you told on a female. So he trying to take the rap, but he got put in the cross.
And that's messed up. That you got two people with gunpowder residue on them,
Yeah.
but you get one immunity and not the other. That's crazy.
We know it was a railroad because even a physician, I want to say, was a physician. They got a second opinion,
Right.
and I think the second doctor was referred to by Rock Nation.
Rock Nation. Yep.
So why would Rock Nation be referring doctors
Same
and
reason.
recommending doctors versus just your standard?
Right.
Why would you have to step in and say, "Hey, go see this doctor"?
Right. And remember, during the case, they couldn't find the bullet fragments.
Yeah, it's a bunch of evidence, so it wasn't proved. You prove in court when you have all the evidence,
Right.
and it's without a shadow or without a doubt.
Right. So, like I said, it's a lot of stuff with this case. Also, I want to play the testimony of, I think his name's Sean Kelly. Now, Sean Kelly was supposed to be the eyewitness testimony of that case, right? So I'm gonna put it on the screen so y'all can see the actual testimony that Sean Kelly had, right? So I don't know if y'all can see that. Maybe I should have made it bigger. But let me go to the next page. Hold on. I think it start right here. Okay, it says, "Who did you see the muzzle flash near?" He said, "The girls." "And which girl in particular? The girl who got out of the back seat or the girl that came from the front seat?" "Well, the girl that was in the passenger seat was the girl that was standing outside. Question: "The girl who got shot was initially in the fight, correct?" He answered, "Yes." Question: "And the girl that who was the one who was the aggressor, you saw go to the car, correct?" He said, "Yes." Question: "And is that the same lady you saw the muzzle flash by?" He said, "Yes." The next thing, it said, "Okay, did you state, sir, that my I guess client, that the shorter gentleman did not get out of the car until the initial shots, fireworks?" He stated. He said, "Yes." Question: "Excuse me?" He said, "Yes." Question: "So when the initial shot or fireworks had started, isn't it true you stated that my client was still in the car?" He answered, "Yes, I believe so." Question: "The shorter gentleman was in the car?" He answered, "Yes."
That's it.
The next thing he said, "And you told the officers that you observed two women fighting, correct?" He answered, "Yes." Question: "You told them that the third person got involved to try to separate the fight, correct?" He answered, "Yes." Question: "And then you heard what you believe was fireworks or shots, correct?" He answered, "Yes." Question: "Then you saw the four gentlemen, I guess the fourth gentleman, the shorter gentleman, get out the car?" He answered, "Uh-huh." Question: "Is that a yes?" And he answered, "Yes." And this is 15 minutes after the incident. Police took Sean Kelly's report.
And then with Megan Thee Stallion responses and everything she stated, yet has she even addressed that she even got into a fight with her friend.
Right.
She ain't never spoke on this. So
And,
why is all this in the go ahead.
And the evidence show that y'all got nails, chains, all that laying on the ground where y'all got to fight.
Yeah, you never address y'all even getting the fight to even for the genesis of this to even take place.
And so you can't address it. Y'all got to fight because it give, like I heard so many people when it happened say, "Well, Tori shot her because Meg Thee Stallion was making fun of him and said the only hit he had was with I forgot the white boy name. I can't think of his name right now." And I was like, y'all really think that man shot her because of that? But then y'all want to gloss over the fact that her friend got to fight that night because both of them found out they was having sex. And you mean to tell me you don't think that it was a motive for Kelsey to shoot her? Come on now.
Exactly. And then because you hitting on them, Meg, they're not a little woman. She's a
right.
She's a stallion in
right.
in that regard. So never has she addressed the fight.
Right.
Two, a bunch of what the dude when he was supposed to be on the stand and then show up or something like that.
The bodyguard, a Tora bodyguard didn't come. But then now we got the evidence from Kelsey's bodyguard.
You see what I'm saying? So it's too many moving parts that show inconsistencies in your response. So you doing all this
Yeah,
grandstanding.
even how Meg said she got shot. 1 minute she was in the car, 1 minute he was in the back seat, 1 minute she was walking away. She looked back, he was standing over, shooting out the window. Like she even got like 3 or 4 stories on the account of how she got shot. And then they just released a body cam footage showing her getting out the car, and as she's getting out, a bottle of glass falls on the ground before she steps out. And you hear the police say, "Damn, she just stepped on glass." That corroborates with her story. I stepped on glass. Like I said, we don't have no bullet fragments or anything. And then people want to make a joke because they were saying, well, Tory Lanez just got stabbed 14 times and he back in his cell. So y'all keep talking about Meg Thee Stallion got shot in the foot and she was twerking the next day. First of all, that was inaccurate. He was not back in no cell the next day.
Right.
Y'all stupid as hell if you believe that. He was not back in no cell the next day. And we're going to keep it real. Meg Thee Stallion was twerking like 2 days later.
You're not getting shot in the foot and standing on that foot in no 2 days.
Right.
Probably not even a week.
I agree. So like I said, it's a lot of stuff. But now we have this woman. What's her name?
Anna Paulina Luna, and she's a congresswoman from Florida, I want to say. And this is the interesting part in this. She is a Republican, I want to say, a non-black woman who's coming to the defense of Tory Lanez, yet the party in which Meg Thee Stallion supported, which you got Kamala and friends, are Democrat, yet if you ain't Democrat, you ain't black. Nobody from the Democratic Party, which is using the backs and shoulders of the black vote to gain, whatever traction in politics, are sitting silence. Why this man is being railroaded? Why is this woman so eager and so passionate about jumping or coming to the aid of Tory Lanez? But we're gonna let play some clips from her interview with
radar until now. Why? Anna Paulina Luna. She is a representative from Florida. You see her here on a regular basis. She says she's got new evidence, says it wasn't him. And she joins us now. Representative APL, it's good to have you.
Thanks, Chris. Happy to be back on. And thanks for taking a look at this case.
No, listen, you tell me to take a look at it, I'll look at it. But why did you look at it? I mean, this isn't your jurisdiction. I don't know you to have any connection to any of these people.
Yeah, so as you know, we are on oversight and accountability. And so this case was actually initially flagged for me by Amber Rose. And the reason why I took a particular interest in it is because of the fact that they actually had evidence that they presented to me in my office that actually disproved the conviction. So as you stated earlier, that 0.01% of DNA, they actually found 4 people's DNA on that firearm, none of which was Tory's. Not to mention there was 0 fingerprints on the actual magazine. And also, too, as you said, 0.01% chance. I mean, that evidence in itself should pretty much speak for itself. Also, there's been ring footage that's been obtained that actually disproves the whole dance.
That is crazy.
You got the other video in there?
I ain't got it. I could probably upload it real quick.
Yeah, because it ain't gonna get a full context without that second part. Because, like I said, what she's breaking down is, like I said, just the evidence and just the investigation piece of this that was just mishandled to the point to where I think he has the #1 petition, out right now. For you to have this much support, behind you getting out and your case, you're not gonna just discredit that. You're not gonna minimize that. This man is getting all type of support from, the congresswoman, the people of the, that's supporting the petition. Like you can't ignore that. So when you look at a case like this and so many others, and I think he stated as at the end of the video. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. So at the end of the video, that he's going to get into prison reform, and I think a lot of people that get mishandled, that has the resource and the luck, if you will, to get out from a situation such as this, it motivates you to get into this reform.
Right.
You want to get into it because you're around other people that's inside that don't have the resource or the support system that you may have. And you say, hey, man, I met 3 other guys and we went through their case. Because really, I think when you go and look at a lot of documentaries and behind the scenes in some of these prisons and camps, they just review law all day. They got a law library. They review each other's cases. And you find a bunch of inconsistencies and innocent men behind bars. But Like I said, we got some more clips.
For a good reason and help get him his pardon, which I think he'll get.
So, Luna, who did it? I mean, she says and her friends say that he did it. And
No.
I think that was the last one. That's the 123?
Let me see. I just uploaded 2 real quick.
Okay. I think it's the one before that. Because she addresses
123 and he got 108.
I think it's the 123 because
Next. Next.
Yeah.
For a good reason and help get him his pardon, which I think he'll get.
So, Luna, who did it? I mean, she says and her friends say that he did it. And who else would have done it? And what proof do you have to support that? I get it. Maybe they didn't make the case the right way with the weapon, but who did it?
You know, Chris, that's not for me to weigh in, and that's definitely for the judge and the jury. But what I will tell you is based on the evidence that we have, the evidence that we have says that he wasn't the guy. And so I do think that Gavin Newsom has some great attorneys that will look at this. But I'd also like to point out that the prosecutor specifically on this case that initially brought the charges is a very interesting prosecutor. Look into who ran him. And at the end of the day, you know, I think Hollywood, as you know, Chris, in politics does overlap. And there's a lot of interesting stuff that happened there. So look at the evidence for yourself. We've posted it for the entire world to see, to determine for themselves. And I know that Tory's legal team actually has an incredible case. And so we are calling on Gavin Newsom to issue that pardon immediately. And also remember, he was almost killed in jail. I actually talked to him today on the phone. And he said that once he does get out, once he does get this pardon, which I do feel confident that he'll be getting, he's going to work extensively in prison reform because this should never happen to anyone.
Anna Paulina Luna, this is a really interesting.
The whole dance, Megan. And so what we're seeing is really there was a case of he said, she said. The evidence wasn't actually respected and properly adhered to actually in the trial. And then they also were doing something that I would find pretty wild and egregious. They were actually submitting his lyrics for rap as evidence to the crime. So look, first and foremost, you have to have a free and fair society. That means we need to respect and uphold the justice system. So I actually reached out today to Gavin Newsom's office, and we are requesting an emergency meeting. We're also working with other Democrats, specifically to the California delegation. But I think that this is something that's pretty egregious, that the way that this was handled, the way that it was. I think that it was largely driven by headlines. And aside from the people involved and the parties involved, obviously I take domestic violence, I take this very seriously, Chris, but I also take very seriously the fact that I do believe, based on the evidence that I've seen, that Tory's innocent. And I think that it sets a really bad message when you have someone of his stature, and also to someone that is as influential as he is, that's being wrongfully incarcerated. And that's exactly why we wanted to use our megaphone for a good reason and help get him his pardon, which I think he'll get.
So
two things. She said this was flagged to her by Amber Rose. So you got to ask, okay, what interest would Amber Rose have? Because you've seen a different perspective from Amber Rose as of late, where she
about to get into politics.
Yeah, and she's, you know, changing her brand. She's rebranding herself. She's no longer a promoter of the slut walk. She's no longer a promoter of feminism. So I think, like I said, a lot of people are trying to get on the right side of time, and or the right side of history, I would say, that in this interview, she stated, well, Megan said, he said dance B. Right. He didn't say it. She said the evidence don't show that. You also showing a bunch of other inconsistencies with this. And the final dagger is that people are not really taking into consideration this man was almost assassinated in jail.
Yeah.
Behind this, to where they talking about they using his rap lyrics. What does rap lyrics got to do with it?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So you not
and honestly, if you're a Tory fan, because I was a big Tory fan, because I got on the Tory with the chick tapes and stuff like that. But if you followed his music after the shooting and stuff, most of the music was like R&B, 80s, 90s type stuff. It really wasn't nothing about the shooting type stuff. So he had maybe like one or two verses, basically like, how you know I shot you, and one time you said your back was to me. Like how you get shot with no bones broke or none of this type of stuff in your foot. Like it just don't make no sense. Like he was just pointing out, but he ain't really saying. He was just going at a lot of people that try to act like he was like, Bun B, I can't believe that you thought that I would really shoot a woman. Like you really thinking that, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And that's the other part. You had a lot of men coming at this man making threats and all this over a lie.
Right.
because there's this narrative, and this is where we want to get into this girls will believe all women, whether black, white, or other, without any sufficient evidence being brought. The same way a man can get accused and now he's arrested and in jail until they prove it. Now you got to prove it first.
Right.
Then come get me.
It is crazy that no DNA of mine was found, but then y'all suppressed it and said y'all have 4 other DNA on that gun. So now I got to ask a question: did y'all test Kelsey's DNA? Did you test Meg's DNA? Did you test the bodyguard's DNA that was in the car today? You only test mine. So it only seemed like the reason that I'm in this situation because I'm the bigger name in this situation.
Yeah, it's a fall guy.
Also, now I think he be saying a lot of bullshit, so I don't be knowing he real. But Whack 100 kept saying, he said it's Ring doorbell footage out there.
Yeah,
I heard multiple artists say some people said they have seen it. Like Joe Budden said he has seen it, and that's why he wasn't fucking with her. Yeah. So it was people that said they have seen this Ring doorbell footage and said they know that, it was that he didn't shoot her. And now the lady said, hey, we got Ring doorbell footage.
And this is tell you how far a person will go with a lie. This motherfucker on here making these long posts, videos, say I'm gonna get off social media, then you come back, you crying. Like it's some issues there.
Bruh, if they show a video of them fighting, Kelsey shooting her, and you didn't lie on this man a bunch of times, that career is over with.
And I'm suing you. I'm suing. Ooh. I want your socks.
Yeah.
I want socks. I want your wash rags.
Do you know how much money he finna get?
I'm going for 200.
Yeah,
off the gate. I'm going for 200.
Yeah, he gonna get 200. Like any number he go for, he gonna pretty much win.
Yeah. You got me poked up 14 times over. Come on, man. Y'all trying to, and I saw some guy talking about, I said, how you already got the story? It's a Hispanic guy. Yeah. I don't know his name. How you already got out?
Like he was flirting with his wife or something.
And then I think they want to say they show his. You look at him. He ain't got no bad wife. Why would Tory Lanez be worried about you? And he only been gone 2 years.
I'm just gonna be real. If she Hispanic, she gonna be shaped like a lunchbox. It ain't like nobody just fawning or falling over, a fucking lunchbox. I'm just saying.
That story in itself bogus. Like, and this goes to show you, because I'm gonna say this. They said a week prior to, his legal team was trying to get additional evidence submitted for his case to be reviewed. Yeah. And all of a sudden this happened, and they try to come up with this bullshit story. He talking about a man and wife. He too new on the yard to even be doing that.
Right. So what you think? You think he'll get his pardon or not?
Yeah, I think he's gonna get it, because they're gonna. So? I think you got Paulina. If you got this woman coming, it's some more people coming behind that. It's a congresswoman. She ain't doing this alone.
Yeah.
She gonna have I think he's gonna get it. I don't think it's gonna be quick, but I think it'll be sometime this year.
Oh, it'd be good to see. And then maybe he get a pardon. Maybe he can really. Maybe he won't tell, because like I said, well, Kelsey got immunity.
She got immunity. So now you got a dead case with nobody, because it just fought. Well, what you said happened ain't happened.
Yeah.
Because now, if you was shot, well, we need to see the evidence showing that you were shot.
This is career suicide for me. Like I told you, she played this shit all wrong. When she said I didn't want to say that because black men was getting killed, she should have been out here rhying for black men. She could have been like, because that's just the price. Like I said, the price of pain. How much does it cost to get raped? Well, how much does it cost to get shot in the foot? Cassie got 30 mil. You and Tori, I could have settled this behind us to hey, my nigga, you shot me. I'm gonna need 5 mil. I'm gonna need, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna build it up. I'm gonna try to act like I'm rhying for black men, because that's really what people would have seen. You would have had the black men like, oh, I fuck with Meg, because Meg, it'll build your fan base up with the men too.
I don't think her career is over. When you look at this girls culture, and I really want to hone in and make sure
over with.
And make sure we follow up and keep y'all updated on these cases, on how these cases go, because people just think, well, that'll never be me. I seen Corey Holcomb say something real interesting. He said, I know good dudes that ain't never had a criminal record until they moved in with a woman.
Oh.
He said it was smooth, clean record. He said the moment they moved in with a record, with their woman, on the baby mama house shacking up type shit, they got a criminal record now. But I think this culture is so toxic and so stubborn. It don't matter what evidence come out to show Tory Lanez innocent. You're gonna have a group of people, women and men alike, that are still going to support Meg Thee Stallion, even though she's been called out for lying and caught lying red-handed on numerous occasions. You're gonna have people, because it's not what's true or false, is who you like.
That's what it seemed like.
It's all about who you like. If the society if she's not plastered in the headlines like P. Diddy is, he's a demon, like Tory Lanez is, or he shoot women out. If you're not branded in the public opinion by the media, then they're gonna still go with that.
But see, it's crazy because I still see a lot of women that going on. I was surprised the amount of women that I see going against Meg too, though.
You do have a lot of women
You have
calling
a
out.
lot of this, and the thing is, it's crazy because most women, especially like Meg and the music that she put out, the attraction that she had, you would think that her fan base and the women would ride with her. But I've been seeing a lot of women, and it's just like that. That's to me is even more of a telltale sign that you so full of shit that women can't get behind you.
Yeah. And I seen a lot of revisions of it. Like I said, and I'm gonna keep hitting on this girls culture, which said I'm a girls girl, but not a real. Like they putting these caveats and tweaks to it, and asterisks on certain points that outline if you are truly a girls. Because we know with our culture, men and women, when they convict themselves of something, whether that's Christian, YN, OnlyFans, they go all the way.
Yeah.
They can't do it halfway. They gonna go all the way. So her career may be over on the mainstream, but she probably will downgrade to the chitlin circuit.
Yeah, she probably
doing the smaller cities, doing stuff like this. Maybe. She may still get that circulation, but it's just like I said.
She'll be like a feature artist on tours or something like that.
Yeah, these cases that come out like this just need to be looked at because people think they're the same caliber of these celebrities, like the main character syndrome.
Yeah.
Well, I got shot, or I got did like this, or I got did like this, so I feel what she's. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And they embody these personalities that are not real.
I agree. Like I said, I want to see what's the outcome going to be. I think we having the tides are changing right now. And I just watched this on Alabama Preach. They had a hockey team supposed to being accused of raping a girl up there. They ran like 5 or 6 boys ran a train on the girl, and they had found not guilty. And the trial was so crazy that the judge dismissed 2 jurors. And so she ended up having to call the case themselves, but they got text messages like right after, proving that they didn't rape her. They all their stories during text message after the incident, showing that she was asking for it. She was like, y'all basically stop being scared. I'm consenting. I want y'all to, do me. But it's crazy that you go through something like this, and people. What I'm trying to say is this is a perfect example. I think with a lot of this might be out there, but I think when it comes to a lot of these false allegations, when it comes to rape, I think it's equivalent to like the copycat syndrome, where you have like school shooters of men,
trying to
emulate some, because these are probably women. Because typically when you look at these women that get in these situations, you're like, girl, ain't nobody raping you. Ain't nobody trying to take that pussy. Now, if I'm gonna take some, it ain't gonna be you, right? And then you start finding out the history of the woman. A lot of these women have low self-esteem. A lot of these women have promiscuous passes. Like even with Kobe Bryant, when you think about Kobe's situation, you find this girl had got a swab and found other men's DNA, sperm inside her vagina.
She caught a big fish.
So when we have these conversations, I think a lot of times when it comes to these, when the Tawana Brawley, the Duke lacrosse team, they supposedly did something to her too. Come to find out, she admitted, hey, I lied about it. So these people build up names because they are nobodies. Same way you have school shooters. A lot of these school shooters shoot up schools to have that moment. To have that name, to have that legacy. We still talk about Columbine to this day. We'll still talk about Tawana Brawley to this day. So I think a lot of these women, they lame. They pretty much would probably be like an incel type demeanor. Not saying they ain't getting sex, but just that demeanor. They ain't got the swag. They ain't got the gravitas. They not walking down the street and turning heads. They're not getting catcalled. So like I said, I think a lot of time with these fake rape allegations, I think a lot of women are just trying to emulate or trying to get that name, like I said, that moment, just like, school shooters. That's why a lot of people on news stations trying to get a name of the person or the look of the person, because they said they don't want any copycat shit. So
yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, like I said, we're gonna keep y'all updated. Like I said, you see the Diddy trial still trending. You got new findings and new testimonies coming out with that. That's gonna be interesting. So Monday, we definitely gonna get an update on what comes out the rest of this week. But we're gonna move along to, you wanna go to Plantation?
Let's go. Since we talking about stuff like this, let's switch to Ryan Clark.
Ryan Clark.
We're gonna go to Ryan Clark and RG3. The reason we're going to Ryan Clark and RG3, because Ryan Clark does this thing where he panders to black women a lot. And I want to say this. I'm not a black person that likes the word coon, Sambo, Uncle Tom, any of those derogatory terms to make myself seem like I'm more black or I ride for the culture more. I don't like when guys use those terms because they want to seem like they're more down or they can be trusted. And then at the end of the day, you find out their backstory and see that, hey, this shit full of shit. And the reason I say that Ryan Clark full of shit, come to find out, you talk about RG3 and his wife being white and him not understanding what Angel Reese goes through because, you know, he's not having conversations with black women. But Ryan Clark, you were married to a black woman and got another woman pregnant while you were married to that black woman. And that woman that you got pregnant was a white lady. So you have an interracial child as well. So it's wild that when you pick up all these guys and their skeletons in their closet, it's crazy the stuff that we see what's going on. And like I said, you pull the curtain back just a little bit. It's kind of like, are you able to speak on certain situations? Mm-hmm. So let me play Ryan Clark video first, and then we're going to go to RG3's response. I'm gonna have to do it the other way. Hold on.
We moved in to being able to read the expressions of a person and know their intent, know their character, know their perspective. But he does understand hate because I think he also understands the hate of self. When you look at the play, which is all we can speak to as professionals, all we can speak to as analysts, Angel Reese pushed one of her teammates. Caitlin Clark had a hard foul, which is part of basketball. I feel like it was assessed correctly. And Angel Reese's reaction is the sort of reaction you get in a situation when you feel like you took an intentionally hard foul. That's competitiveness. That's rivalry. That's not hate. And so now, though, when RG3 jumps on to the hate train or to the angry train, and now follows along with what we saw from Keith Olbermann, what we saw from Dave Portnoy, as they poured on to Angel Reese to make her the villain in Caitlin Clark's heroic or hero story. Right. The one thing we know about RG3 is he's not having conversations at his home about what black women have to endure in this country, about what young black women and athletes like Angel Reese have had to deal with being on the opposite side of Caitlin Clark's rise and ascension into stardom. Now, when you look at it, I think A'ja Wilson is the face of the league. A'ja Wilson is the best player in the league. Caitlin Clark is the most important player in the WNBA. And a ton of her fandom has come along with some racial bias or some racial pieces to why people love her so much. And so now if you're RG3, when is the last time within your household you've had a conversation about what she's dealing with? You haven't been able to do that because in both of your marriages, you've been married to white women. You haven't had opportunities to have those conversations to educate you on what they're feeling, what black women deal with, what they're seeing when they think of a young Angel Reese. And the whole time that he's mimicking Angel Reese and bobbing his head and moving his neck while he's doing this whole piece, his wife is in the back amening and clapping. And so to me, it's just another situation that now this young lady has to deal with. When I worked with RG3, he would make all of these sort of corny jokes about milk and how much he loved it and how important it was. And he always points out on social media the color of his wife's skin, as if the color of her skin is what makes her special, as if the color of her skin is what makes her a good wife. I've met the lady, I've had a conversation with her. Right. I think she's more than that. But it also leads to what Black women deal with a lot from Black men who have chose to date or marry outside of their race. They always feel like they have to go the extra mile to prop up the woman that they're married or the woman that they're with over Black women by denigrating Black women. I feel like we should have an opportunity to move past that and understand that Angel Reese can be great in her own right, as Caitlin Clark is as well. Caitlin Clark is a likable and lovable superstar. She pays homage to the stars of the past. She pays homage to the Black women that have come before her. And now she is carrying the mantle forward. So there's no need to pin those two against each other and paint them based on stereotypical tropes. And I think this is what I'd like RG3 to know, that no matter how much he continues to echo the microaggressions of racists, he'll be no less Black than me.
Hold up, limitless, niggas to me can't pin in it. I thought they here to witness it.
BS. You finna play his response.
You gonna play the response? Well, I'm gonna say something since that video fresh. One thing I want to say. I follow RG3, and he never makes any disparaging comments against Black women. I've never seen him make one. Not one. Now he do make a little weird stuff about his wife and stuff like that. And then like I remember they had like little videos in the kitchen. It was probably like like some that Black it was viral, but it was like a lot of couples was doing what they was like grabbing the ass of their wives or something, and his wife really ain't got no ass, so it was supposed to be like a little joke. You know, she's a white girl with a flat ass, but it supposed to be like a little joke. So like I said, they do a little corny stuff, kind of put you in the mind like how cool he be with his white girlfriend or wife, whatever she's supposed to be. And so it's kind of like, I don't know, like I think a lot of those guys, when they get in relationships with, I guess, white women or outside of their race, it kind of like it's still an elephant in the room type shit. Like I'm gonna address it, but then I'm gonna try to make light of it so it won't seem as bad. But then it's kind of like, why do you have to do that? If you're confident in the person you decide to marry, why do you got to make all of these little racist jokes? You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sitting around with a Black woman making a stereotypical joke with a Black woman.
And I saw they did a side by side of Ryan Clark's wife and RG3 wife. And now, like I said, I don't really play into the, and I used to be super pro Black.
Yeah.
I used to be, and I started looking at it, and I started seeing the conversations where it's white supremacy as the white, and you start looking at things through a universal lens or a 360 lens. If you giving credit to a certain group as to why you're there, you also give them the power to either keep you there or take you out of it. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So at some point, the conversation is going to get away from, or has gotten away from, self-accountability and what we want to do and what we should be doing for our best interest versus waiting for white man or whoever to fix a system so we can get it too. No, you there's adversity in this world that you're going to have to overcome. This is one of them. And I understand there's still effects of slavery that run deep. However, a lot of the behaviors are not, it's beyond the racism. It's beyond the white supremacy. And you look at Ryan, I seen RG3's wife. She's a beautiful white chick, and I think that's intimidating to Black men that can't get that.
And see, the thing is, we're gonna keep it a buck. In America, a white woman still is a trophy when it comes to the women.
The blonde, blue-eyed white woman is America's gift. That's the white man's trophy. So you got a white woman, slim figure, in shape, elegant, classy, and you say, well, she's submitting to him, she's committed to him.
Right.
What kind of value that he has to what he got? Because we know classism is always there.
Right.
So because you got the white woman at the top, and then now you got now it's circling is you got the Asian woman who's kind of being coveted, but that's kind of here there. But you got the white Asian, Latina, then you got this Black woman, and this is not my word, these are just studies, but that show this is the best woman to wife. Not saying she's
for status.
Yeah, for status, for family, for certain things, a certain lifestyle. These are the women that men are seeking more. So it speaks to the insecurities in a Black man that can't get there or wasn't able to get it. You just able to get a baby mama out of it.
Right. And so, like I said, another thing is we always talk about interracial. Like I believe they're biracial. I don't believe they're Black or white, but a lot of people believe one little drop of Black, you Black. A lot of people believe that, right?
Yeah.
So he got 4 daughters. What do you mean he not in there having a conversation with his daughters about being a black woman? Because technically they would be black by a lot of people's standards. But then we got the girl up here that's doing the dance. That everybody hating, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yes,
the girl, the one that getting the 6 bands.
Linda, Cinda,
something like that.
Yeah.
Now, but then we have her, and they keep calling her a white girl. And she said, my dad is black. My dad is black. And I'm like, if y'all see my nephew, you'll think he's a white boy. He got blonde hair, straight hair, no curl, no kink, no nothing. He looks just like a white boy. So it's like we have these conversations. Y'all pick and choose on when somebody black, white, or when they're biracial, depending on if you like them or not. But like I said, if we having a real conversation, Ryan Clark, you cheated on your black wife with a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. You can't be, like I said, you can't be talking about what RG3 conversation he's having when your actions show that you are even sneak out on your wife and get on your wife with a white woman and get her pregnant.
And if you just look at the two, you look at RG3, his presentation, he's very articulate. He's a clean cut black man in shape. Right. You can tell he take care of himself. That's what that is. That boils down to envy, because you're taking a conversation that has been going on for so many ages. There are going to be comparisons in competitive sports at that level. From the NFL,
right,
they're going to compare the greats. From the NBA, they're going to compare the greats. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe. It's always going to be a comparison. But just my unbiased opinion, I watched a few clips and a few pieces of the WNBA game, and I watched how Angel Reese plays versus Caitlin Clark. Is night and day as far as skill set and talent.
I agree.
It is night and day. Caitlin Clark is a better basketball player than Angel Reese at their position.
I agree. I think and like RG3 basically was saying, like, you acting like you finna punch Caitlin Clark. That's why I say it's hate, because when the other people foul you hard, your ass get up and go to the free throw line. It ain't all that. We got to separate y'all.
Yeah.
But now you got to get up and like you finna punch Caitlin Clark. And I bet everybody was looking at you like, bitch, you about to fuck the money up. Yeah. If you go punch her and she out, ain't nobody coming to see us no more. Every time she come to this arena, it's packed. And you want to go punch the cash cow?
They ain't gonna let it happen. You're gonna get fined heavily.
Do you know how crazy? And see, that's the thing where the difference between women and men. Because even when you talk about Magic and Larry Bird, you know, they try to put them together. Mm-hmm. Then they say, you know what, we ain't gonna play in that. Then they start getting on commercials together. Mm-hmm. They say, hey, we gonna work together.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be no separate. And that's what Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark should do. Hey, the race shit, we not even finna play into that.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start seeing when they was out there playing, because a lot of the black athletes were saying, hey man, I get it. We out here competing. We out here playing. But y'all need to let Angel Reese get off. Y'all keep fouling her hard. Caitlin Clark hard. Hey, she bringing eyeballs here. We trying to get this money. Y'all don't understand what's going on, because y'all keep talking about money, but the girl that's bringing the money, y'all want to foul and hurt her and do all this type of low down shit to her. Let her score. Because if me and you was out there, they say, hey, you know, maybe this year he gonna get us maybe 10 mil a piece. Let that nigga get off this year. After we get the money, then we're gonna play. We'll worry about that shit later. And I get it. Like I said, it's about competitive nature, but I think men understand the bigger picture. Because I always say women don't have no foresight. That's why they get in the situations that they do when they're like being baby mamas and shit. So, like I said, with this situation, I just don't like men pandering to black women, or like I said, using terms coon, sambo, all of that other terms to try to make themselves seem like they black or more down, more for the cause, like they finna go walk across a motherfucking bridge and get sprayed with motherfucking hoses and get bit by dog. No, yeah, y'all ain't finna do none of shit. We all finna sit around and have our difference of opinions and shit like that, and then we should be able to have that. That's one of the issues in the black community, is we're not allowed to have a difference of opinion, a different talking point, because if we still keep the same talking points and the same ideologies and the same ideas that we've been having for the last 60 years, we're going to be in the same position, in the same spot the next 60 years. So I think when somebody has a new talking point, a refreshing talking point, or a refreshing thought, we might need to give it a chance, because we done seen what y'all done did for the vast majority of the last 60 years, when y'all all thought the same, moved the same, marched the same, had the same talking points. We ain't got nowhere, because we still saying the same shit in 2025.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
You gonna play RG3 response?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. RG3 response.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy RG.
I forgot it's working now. I ain't know what came up though. All right. I thought it was gonna play.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy RG3, and I just wanted to get on here and talk to you guys because there's been a lot of buzz, a lot of conversations about my sports take that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark, which was purely based in basketball. But I think all of you know there's a line in life that you just simply don't cross. Wives and children are always off limits, and Ryan Clark has sprinted past that line. Ryan Clark didn't like my sports take that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. And that's fine. It's okay. It's part of the game. Sports media, I'm going to have an opinion. This person might not agree with it. That person might not agree with it. But what you don't do is turn around and personally attack me and my family just because you don't agree with a sports opinion that is purely based off the sport. I didn't make it personal. But what that really shows is just how low of a person Ryan Clark is. But Ryan, you crossed the line, man. You made it personal and some. I really believe there should be no space in sports media for personal attacks. I've said it before. But certainly personal attacks against wife and children have always been off limits. Ryan, you attacked me and my family in a public forum on a level that shows just how low of a human being you are. You can disagree with me all you want. Challenge my takes, but keep my family and my wife out of it. That's a boundary that should always be respected, man. Always.
And I agree. Like I said, for me to give you a basketball take, just a simple basketball take, and you got to go about my wife, and I'm basically not down with the culture because I've been married to 2 white women. I got these mixed kids. Like, yeah, I don't think that's cool.
And like I said, you also got to look at this as entertainment, so it's monetized. So a lot of this stuff, I would, take it with a grain of salt to, these trips, hey, y'all go at each other the same way Stephen A. Skip and all them, Shannon Sharp, when they was doing it. I like I said, so I think it's, it's somewhere, I ain't gonna say scripted, but scripted because we need ratings.
I don't think this one is scripted, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't think this one's scripted. Because it's RG3. This is the worst person to try to have his response. You know what I'm saying? That's not gonna garner.
It's not gonna be fired.
Yeah, it's not gonna be fired. It's not gonna garner any attention. So I don't think this one was. Now, if he was if this was Stephen A. Smith with a white woman and how Stephen A. Smith, I would be like, okay, maybe this, because Stephen A. gonna come with it, put the videos out.
And the other part of that may not be with RG3, but you would have had other personalities trying to pick it and say, why did he go with him? Like, you got the third parties on the outside looking in.
Well, you got Marcellus Wilder. He just made a video. That's
Jason, Jason Whitlock's going to touch on it.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith may have touched on it. Hey, why are you? So you got the other moving parts, because it's a fraternity.
Right.
The sports media, these people either have been journalists for years or have played, in particular these particular sports. So, but yeah, with this one, wife and children should be off limits. But it goes to show you that you said it. Racism is a $1 billion business.
$1 billion industry.
It says, hey, we ain't gonna eat Wendy's, we're gonna eat McDonald's. We ain't gonna eat McDonald's, we gonna eat Wendy's, because it'll be an issue if everybody ate McDonald's. Wendy's go out of business.
Right.
Burger King go out of business. So we gotta have, some biases, just points. Hey, you gonna go here? Okay, you go there. Because we need both of these industries. We need both
the pots to be filled up.
Facts.
Yeah.
So
exactly. So like I said, that's a true statement. Racism is $1 billion industry. So the next thing, since we're talking about racism, let's go to the plantation.
It's the antebellum in Louisiana. I want to say, get the right name of it. So this is the Nottaway. Yeah, Nottaway Plantation in White Castle, Louisiana, built by slaves in 1859. Now, this is the interesting part about this, because you saw it, it went viral, had a lot of traction, but what does this really symbolize? Like, you got a plantation, but you don't have who's the credit given to? Who's the arson?
You know what I'm gonna say?
Arsonist or whatever.
This remind me of that riverboat attack shit
in Montgomery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason it remind me of that is like performative activism. Y'all, okay, some people got hit with some charities, some niggas swimming. We don't normally see niggas swimming and shit. So that was more add a little razzle dazzle to this shit. You throw a nigga through a head in the air. But now we see a house burning up and black people are celebrating that too, as if that's a win. I don't understand why we get so excited over bullshit that's not actually going to pull the quote unquote culture forward or black people forward. Like a lot of this stuff that they put in front of our face, I think, to make us more upset. And for instance, I think it's kind of similar to LeBron James getting nigga rolled in his house in LA. Yeah. You mean to tell me LeBron James in his house, all these cameras around, multi-million-dollar house, and somebody can go write nigga on your garage and not see nothing?
You in a community more likely gated. You can't even get through there without going through the people.
Do you see how big that fucking house is?
Yeah, you ain't getting.
You mean to tell me y'all ain't nobody out there seeing nobody with no gas cans, no nothing, just on fire?
And what they putting up in? They ain't putting up in no Dodge. That's Bentley. That's Bentley land.
So
that's Rolls Royce land.
So I'm saying is a lot of this stuff is meant to, like I said, the $1 billion industry. It's meant to spark a conversation. It's meant to make people angry. It's meant to sell T-shirts. It's meant to put Black Lives Matter on the floor. It's meant to invoke a feeling in black people, because black people are so emotional nowadays, extremely emotional, especially being raised by a lot of women and our culture being a matriarch. So when I see this, all it makes me think of is like the riverboat attack. LeBron James getting nigga rolled in his house. Like, why would LeBron James? And then after that happened, he just wanted to say, yeah, just let you know, even as a wealthy black man, racism still comes to my doorstep, or whatever he said.
Exactly. That's all for Otter. You're not dealing with no racism as LeBron James. Stop it.
Shut the hell up. Yo, $1 billion nigga. Well, bro, like you gotta think about this. I really do think, and I could be wrong, I really do think they told LeBron, please don't retire yet, because we gotta get the face of the league. They want Jason Tatum to be the face of the league.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna be the face of the league. Ant-Man too wild. Ja Morant got too many gun issues. So who gonna be the face of the league? Giannis said he don't want it.
I go to an NBA game, but I found out that the NBA is real. When you just look at it, you can tell it's scripted. I don't even watch it. It's lost its appeal. I get an NBA another 4 to 5 years before it's done. Ain't nobody studying NBA no more. Y'all, it's too many politics. Y'all playing the games and doing all that. That's why you got to show the rappers courtside and what they wearing, interacting. Nah.
Behind the scene when they walking down the tunnel and all that. Yeah.
I think
what we're gonna start seeing, I think they're gonna stop making it scripted. They're gonna have to stop it. And the reason I say that, it's gonna be like agendas gonna have to go out of the NBA. And for what I mean by that is, you let Jokic win because you're trying to appease the European crowd. You're gonna let Dirk win. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna let Giannis, even though he black, he overseas. So you're trying to entice the league to be more of the European players. So that's why you let him win. So those are the agendas that we got now. But now when you look at it, like the Western Conference Finals, you got Shea, American, Ant, American. You got Boston. Ain't Boston in there? Or did they lose?
Nah, they got kicked out. You got the Knicks and the Pacers.
So you got to think about it. Like now, I think it's getting to the point where so many people are they're gonna tune out, because they talking about the viewership been the lowest last couple of years. Nobody watching that shit. So even with that aspect of what's going on with that, I think they're gonna have to stop all of the rigging shit that's going on with the basketball and stuff like that. And then his wife told us that it was rigged anyway.
Yeah, you see. But yeah, going back to this plantation burning down, who is giving the credit, and when did they? Because it looks like this is in a country town. It's not just on a main road, so you got to drive some ways out to get here. And it's not like you can go outside and knock on your next door neighbor house.
Yeah.
So, and this is a big house. this is you can't just burn this house by throwing a match on it.
Right. And
You
that's
gotta,
what I'm saying. If you ever lit like a bonfire, that should be kind of difficult sometimes.
yeah. You gotta really like the chemicals, gas, or whatever
Right.
you use, and you gotta this probably wasn't a one-man job.
No, and that's what I'm saying. That for that house to be that big is definitely not a one-man job. And you definitely have to have, like I said, some people have to have saw who was out there. Or it could have been, conspiracy theory had just a laser, shooting from the sky like they did in Hawaii.
Yeah. And like I said, they probably burned it down. They just sold the land. That somebody, the buyer or investor, want to do something different with that. It's a bunch of stuff. But like I said, when you see these things, they're just symbolic. It don't have any. It's not significant. Okay, you burnt down a plantation. Okay, woo de woo.
What's the point?
What's the point?
Like that's the thing. Like,
what about the rest of the one? Now, if you say you burnt down every plantation in the country, now we got a conversation, and it's credited to some black people.
Right.
Now we got some, or FBAs, as people would label them, the correct term. If you had that type of whatever, and you got an organization that's taking credit and standing behind the work, now we would, entertain a conversation. But this, we don't know who did this.
We don't know, and like I said, it's performative at this point. And people want to sing "Kumbaya," and they feel like black people getting one up on the white folks. Like, bro, if you said somebody got 400-year head start on you, you ain't gonna never catch up. Nah. The idea that black people think they finna catch up to white folks and be as evil as white people have been, and be as vitriolic as white people have done to black people, and you got people been hanged thousands of black men from trees, and women, and raping and kids. You're not finna catch up with it. I don't care what y'all burn down. I don't care how many riverboat attacks y'all have. I don't care how many Carmelo Anthony stabbed Austins in the chest, and I don't give a fuck. Y'all ain't catching up with that. You might as well hang it up, because if that's your goal is retribution, you got a long mountain to climb.
Yeah, retribution for I don't. But like that's why I say at some point the conversation was white supremacy is white supremacy. Okay, we know it's systematic, but you don't have to, like, that's what I said. We got these laws. Laws are broken every day. You got these, all these unspoken laws, the unspoken rules where you got to comply. You got to behave this way. You got to, make white people feel comfortable. Take off your hat. You got the dreads hanging in your face. You don't have to acquiesce to that. You can say, you know what? Nah, this how we move. This how we, this is the lane we're going in. But like I said, it's just another person we're gonna look to blame, and versus look at ourselves and say, well, we need to come together, cut off the social media, develop your own communication platform. That's not a conversation that black people are having. They want to use white resource.
White ice is colder because we got a black fan base.
Want to play in the league, white folks own it. Want to work at the jobs, white folks job, they can fire you in at will. You're an at will employee. They can say, hey, you're done. We're seeing these women, a lot of black women who work for the government, lose their jobs and livelihood. You don't have to go there. You can pick up, and it comes with sacrifice. That's the one thing a lot of people don't take into consideration.
I forgot they let comments come up on the screen now.
Oh, what they saying?
Sierra said, Tory ain't getting out. He's an abuser, loser.
Yeah, see, you making that statement without no facts to support it.
We got to see. Like I said, he could get a pardon. Like I said, I don't think this many people would have garnered this much attention with the quote unquote new evidence. They said they found ring camera, body camera footage, all of that stuff being pushed. They got 4 different DNAs. This is what they saying. I don't know it's true. 4 different DNAs on the gun, and Tory wasn't one of them. Why they didn't test anybody else's DNA towards the DNA on the gun, I have no clue. Yeah, eyewitness testimony. Sean Kelly said he's seen the 2 girls fighting and the shorter woman going to get the gun, and after the gun was shot, Tory was still in the car. So you have a lot of people even doing testimony that say that Kelsey shot Meg. But like
and you'll have people in the comments like that. That's why I say it's nothing that you can tell most women, and the women that are supporting this are black. It's nothing that you can tell them. It has even God can't tell you what's right and you follow it. They're going to, the ego has been shaped, and it's like a brick wall. You can't get, it's impenetrable.
And the idea, and this is some real shit, the idea just because somebody got convicted in the court mean that it was proven, and we see innocent men get released all the time.
All the time. After being 28 years, 15 years,
they had a
40
man that
years
was in there for 50 years for
and
rape.
that he didn't do.
He didn't do. They tested the DNA.
Yeah.
He didn't do it. And the thing is, what they said, he fit the description, and the girls that they supposed to rape said they raped, but they still had the DNA. But you know, back then they couldn't test it. Wasn't his DNA.
Yeah.
And he kept telling people, I didn't do it. So we see black men all the time get released after the court has convicted them.
Yeah.
So for you to be like, it's set in stone, the court said it, what the woo, people listen to it, shut your stupid ass up.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, I don't.
Because if it was your son, would you be saying the shit you saying?
No.
Probably not.
Yeah, they can have real shit. They be having y'all sons on camera, on gas station video. They look directly in the camera shooting. Y'all still be wanting y'all sons to come home.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, I don't like the idea that so many people have these, since it's not happening to me, or it's not approaching my doorstep, that it can't happen to me.
That's what it is. That's exactly the mindset.
I don't like that mindset, because I understand that. That's why I never glow on anybody's downfall, because I know that, hey, that same thing I'm glowing on, it can happen to me, because I am a black man in America. Even though I think my view is that racism isn't as bad as we like to claim, especially in the black community. There could be some time where I, doing the podcast, it blow up. I could be railroaded. I could say the wrong thing one day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now I got to go sit down somewhere because, God forbid, I say something about the tiny hats or something the wrong way.
Yeah. I think, like I said, the racism that we're talking about is not covert. I mean, I'm saying it's not overt, it's covert. Yeah. Like the systems are already in place, from your public education, your medical resources, where we see a lot of black women who lose their life of giving birth, or,
I push back on that one.
What, about the giving birth?
I'm gonna tell you why.
What's it?
So, because I went through 2 pregnancies with my wife. One of the things that they said during, like, a lot of the breathing classes and stuff like that, a lot of black women don't check themselves enough. They don't go to hospital visits like they're supposed to. And the reason after that, this really came to my doorstep. So I ain't gonna say no names, but somebody close to us, 16-year-old girl, went 6 months before telling her mother, because she had to tell her mama she was pregnant. I see that a lot. We've seen it a lot. We've heard it a lot. We got shows about I didn't know I was pregnant. So a lot of times when it comes to a lot of black women, and when they talk about the stuff that happens when they give birth, a lot of black women don't get checkups like they're supposed to. You ain't going to the breathing classes. You ain't going to, take your glucose, drinking your glucose to see if you're going to have gestational diabetes. You ain't going to swab your coochie and your asshole so they can see if you got any bacteria or any infections and stuff like that. Like, these are things that I did not know was that important. You didn't know that if your baby was breached. You don't know if you got any deformities. You don't know if you got a small cervix or small hips, or if you want to have C-section. You don't know if you want to labor in water, if you can walk around the hospital, if you want to be able to take an epidural, what kind of medicine they can give you coming down, all the stuff with the vaccines. Do you want the skin to skin? How many people do you want to like? It's so much that come into that so many people, when I have conversations, and I think because I was so involved, and me and my wife asked a lot of questions. When we even talk to people that have went through the pregnancy stuff, they're like, y'all had a birthing plan? What is that? Oh, you got to do X, Y, Z. I didn't know they did this at that hospital, but you couldn't do it at this hospital. Well, they didn't let me do this at this hospital, but I could do this at and I'm just only saying this because I want it to be put out there. And it might be some birth racism and birth, but I do know, and I've seen it plenty of times, to where black women, when y'all are out here just having sex lackadaisically, and y'all get pregnant, you need to go get y'all. You know what I'm saying? I need to go make sure y'all check up. If you know you out here fucking, you need to go get checked up a lot. And it don't make no sense that y'all don't know who y'all baby dad is and all this shit is, because they even go further to let you know that, hey, a lot of these women just out here doing stuff they ain't gonna get.
Yeah, but like when I'm looking at just the numbers, not saying just pregnancy, but just medical, where you got just the treatment, you got these experiments that they do. They use these experimental drugs. And when you look at the race and the race ratio from Hispanic, Latino, white, and you look at the black mortality rate with women, it's a staggering difference. So those, what you're saying, could be possible, but for the most part, it's present because of other things, such as the Tuskegee experiments, where they use the medical facilities, such as all of that. But the racism that they want to combat, they think it's a person. It's not a person. It's a system. It's a mindset in which you choose to partake in. At any point, you can say, I'm not going to play your game. I'm not going to work your job. I'm not going to buy your goods. We're going to create our goods. We're going to change the diet. We're going to grow our own food. We're going to, do our own thing. We're going to create our own businesses. I don't have to play your game.
So let me ask you this. Have you been seeing a lot of people talking about removing themselves from society?
Yeah, that's a hot topic. I follow a guy on YouTube, and he break down a lot of men, black, white, Hispanic, all upright women, and they're living in their cars, living off the grid. They're, lost job, and they attempted to get back into the workforce, to no avail. And they say, you know what, fuck it.
Do you think a lot of people gonna do that? And is it possible to not participate in society?
Absolutely, it's possible. You see it all the time. I think you're gonna see this, and I think this is agenda. I don't think this just some shit that's just happening. This is a plan. You firing thousands, hundreds of thousands, putting ghost jobs out there daily. These people say they're doing 1,000 applications. It's no time and place where you would be submitting 500 to 1,000 applications and you don't hear nothing back. So this is deliberate. Come on, and you hearing this from multiple people.
Yeah,
men, women, different age brackets, with all type of background, skills, and experience, years of experience. To where you telling me you filling out 500 to 1,000 applications and you ain't getting nothing?
Right.
Nah, we know this deliberate. So, but you're gonna see the residuals of that. People are going to say, "Well, fuck it, I'm gonna go live here. I'm gonna do this. Because the ones that are, I would say, I ain't gonna say ambitious, but you're gonna adapt. There's gonna be adaptations that's gonna take place, and if you adapt, you adapt. If you don't, you'll be still not adapting.
Yeah.
But
so let's talk about this thing right here. This is gonna be the last thing.
All right.
Joe Biden got canceled.
An aggressive form, was it prostate?
Yeah, prostate
cancer. Yeah.
You know what? Dude, is they trying to say he just got prostate cancer? Because at his age, I'm pretty sure he can check his prostate getting checked a lot. I think at 50, you supposed to get your prostate checked like once a year or something like that.
Yeah, I like I said, I think he's been, because he had to step down.
Yeah.
And all of that. And you just saw his mannerisms leading up into him stepping down. It just wasn't consistent. You could tell he wasn't capable of running the country, because you saw it on camera. So they said, hey man, we're gonna need you to step down. You're gonna make us look weak.
Had the council?
More likely, yeah.
See, this is my conspiracy theory hat. I think we're starting to see a lot of stuff come open, and I think he's going to play the old, now decrepit motherfucker that can't stand for trial.
Absolutely.
So I think that, I don't think, because you got to think about this, like, why all of a sudden they talking about cancer, right? He could have it, but then the stuff that you were doing, it kind of showed like more of a dementia. Like you turn around saying stuff, like you rambling off at the turn around handing stuff to people that ain't there. You falling, you're just rambling off at the mouth. It just seemed like you have more dementia and old age, and I don't think those things happen when you have prostate cancer, unless maybe you were going through some type of treatment, chemo or whatever. I don't know. But like I said, from what I've seen, it seemed more like dementia. Like I've seen a lot of dementia, people with dementia, family members and stuff. So it seemed more in line with that than, people with prostate, because prostate typically with prostate cancer, they just take your prostate out.
I mean, like I said, it could be one, it could be both. But the fact that I get why they're putting it out because he's the former president, of course. We don't wish him, ill will toward him, but I mean, 80-some years old. It's about time, he's lived way past the average male in this country.
Right.
So, but I think, like I said, they want to announce just to keep people, because he's still in the political arena, even though he's not in the seat. He's still somewhere, and he's still in the fabric of it. But it's just another, something. It's just news that you may need or may not need to know.
Yeah, I don't think nobody really cares.
I don't think nobody really cares.
If you ain't the president, and like I said, he been MIA the last 2 years anyway.
Yeah.
You know, Kamala been on the trail, campaign trail. I think that, like I said, it had to be an excuse for him, his absences and stuff, because, you know, people saying, hey, Joe Biden himself is declining. He's talking crazy, and everybody goes, no, Joe's sharp as a tack.
Yeah.
Joe is sharper than the first time I met him. It's like, it ain't what we see up there.
Because then it birthed the question, well, who's running the country if he's not
right,
you know, competent or in his right state of mind to make these important decisions?
Right. See, that's the question that got to be asked. Who was running the country?
I mean, who's been running the country since, I think the last time, I want to say the last vote was at Hoover.
So you don't think the president's running the country?
Nah. No.
Why you say that?
Because this is a corporation. The president of a CEO, he's just the president of the company. You're not the owner. You see what I'm saying? Mark Zuckerberg ain't the president of Facebook. He's CEO. But they probably got a president or somebody that's represent the company. But they ain't got no say so.
He ain't the owner of Facebook?
I'm saying he's the owner, but he ain't the president. Okay. You get president, they change. We just announced a new CEO of Hertz. It's such and such coming from such and such. Or we got a new CEO of Papa John's. We got a new CEO of Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
You just change them out. You just it's just figures. You don't run it. You're not the.
So you saying Mark Zuckerberg do run Facebook?
He run it.
Okay, I got you.
But he's not the president in a sense. So, but I'm just using that example. But let's say like restaurants and other companies, they change the CEO out every other year.
Yeah.
You ain't representing. Okay, we need to put a new face in. This is a corporation. This is not a country. This is a corporation.
Yeah. If y'all want to call in, y'all can go and call in. If you're watching right now, y'all make sure y'all like the video. Make sure y'all share the video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, X, Rumble, and we on IG. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. If y'all want to call in, the number is at the bottom of your screen. We talked about a lot of stuff today. We talked about the plantation burning down, Ryan Clark and RG3, Joe Biden and CAD Council, and a Tory Lanez update. Now, Chris sent me something too earlier about Prince supposed to have like a videotape in the courtroom.
Oh yeah,
that was crazy. I don't want to lie, that was
yeah. Like I said, we're gonna keep y'all updated on this Diddy trial. The stuff that's coming out, like I said, it's bigger than P Diddy at this point. This is exposing the industry, and I think that's what needs to be driven home, because you got a lot of people who are now thinking they're just going to be breaking the rap game and getting in the entertainment industry, and they're not going to deal with some of these issues or situations that a lot of people don't really make it out of sane. They have some long-term trauma that they're dealing with. You have some some people even lose their life trying to break into this industry that looks so glitz and glamorous because of the money aspect, because of the status. You could have the jury, the chains, et cetera, et cetera. But this the other side of that coin.
What's crazy about that is now we see why people look like they're doing crazy.
Justin Bieber,
your Britney Spears, you know, we saw your Whitney Houston's, your Bobby Brown. We start to see like, oh, y'all out here drugged up, y'all out here doing stuff that go against your moral compass, y'all doing evil stuff. Like, this is crazy. And like I said, a Diddy is really just like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah,
of what we see, like what the whole underworld that we're getting exposed to, because we are in the age of information. But bruh, if they really told us what was going on behind the scenes, especially with the politicians, like how all of y'all politicians and congressmen be getting rich as hell, but making $175,000 a year.
Come on, man.
That don't even make sense. Like if you really show what was going on, and then you start understanding, hey, typically people don't get rich doing legitimate shit.
Nah, not that fast and not that much.
Typically, unless you just the most innovative, creative. If you are maybe a Elon Musk, when you coming out with new stuff and innovating and building, okay, maybe so. But for the most part, no.
Insider trade and all this, it's been going on. Like, this is nothing new, but we just, like I said, we are engulfed in so much other BS. We wouldn't even take the time to. We wouldn't even look into that.
They keep, like I said, they keep us up on the social media, food, sex. We've been exposed to sex early and fast, so they make sure we fucking all the time. Got to take care of the kids. Got to do their 40-hour work week. Doing that shit. raising the prices of everything. So you got so much stress and stuff that you really can't worry about what you're seeing with a Diddy trial or what's going on behind the scenes, because you think out of sight, out of mind.
It ain't my life. So people will look at it for entertainment, just to be
Yeah.
a part of certain conversations, but they're not gonna go down the rabbit hole to see who does this really lead back to.
Right.
Who are the executives? Who are the shadow people that own these labels, that operate or let, you got a bunch of moving parts that people ain't gonna get into for real.
Yeah. Like I said, if y'all want to call in, y'all can start calling in right now. Let's see. We got people watching us. Y'all make sure y'all share the video. Make sure y'all like the video. Facebook been doing some weird stuff too lately on my
Are they flagged us right there?
They ain't been sharing my video like that.
Yeah, they definitely controlling the algorithm. That whole thing, that alone tell you shit in the game.
Yeah. They definitely are not sharing my video like they posted.
But yes, this is the new normal podcast. Outrage Wednesday is always 12 noon. Miscellaneous Monday is gonna be 12 noon. We won't be here Saturday, Memorial Day weekend. Y'all let y'all kick it with y'all family and friends. We're gonna come back next week. We're gonna try to get a good panel of ladies and gentlemen on to discuss a few different things. Well, if we come up with that topic, you'll see it on our pages. But
I think I want to have it packed out next Saturday.
yeah, we need it. It's been a minute since we had a maxed out panel.
Yeah, I think I want to pack it out next Saturday.
Yeah, let's do that.
We gotta find somebody. Yeah, make sure y'all tune in next Saturday. We're gonna try to pack it out, but make sure y'all tune in every day we record. Monday, Miscellaneous Mondays at 12, Outrage Wednesdays at 12, and then 8 o'clock on Saturdays.
Yes, sir.
Then we need to go up early on Saturdays. Like a 7?
Maybe 7:30.
Because people want to get out.
Well, people, now the day culture is taking over. People already be out. You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, and I see it seems like a lot of people doing them.
Yeah, the youngs be out. Like the YNs now, they gonna hit the late night, but most of our age group gonna be day party.
I guess you're right. Yeah. So maybe we'll keep it the same thing, same time. But like I said, y'all make sure y'all like the video, share the video, tell everybody about the New Normal Podcast. We on X, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, and TikTok. It's the New Normal Podcast, and we gone. Peace.